My name is Leah, and I'm from the PR department of AudaCity Capital. And at the minute, we're just conducting little informal interviews to get to know our traders a bit better and to know their background and their journey into the industry. So the first question I have for you is just to introduce yourself and say how you got into trading. Like, where did you start?
All right. Hi, first off, my name is Bradley Armstrong. And I first got into trading. It actually kind of found me. I got into trading by just kind of being around my friend at the time when he was going through a presentation with someone who was introducing him to the Forex market. And from there, I just became really interested because I realized that this was the only industry that it really doesn't, take any effort. It's not a product that you have to sell to someone else. It's more so in between you and the charts. And it's all about your education and how you take that education and apply it. So I just became really knowledgeable about it. I just fell in love with it. And because I've always wanted to be in the investing industry, I went to school for accounting and computer information systems. So that was kind of right up my alley. And when I started to learn more about the charts, I just kind of, became more intrigued, and I wanted to make sure I took it in full time.
Amazing, that sounds great. So how long have you been trading for then? Has it been like a few years?
I've now been in the markets for 2.5 years. The first year, I'll say the first 2 months, I just kind of, I found a broker, I put money into it. I started trading, just kind of get some real experience. Not really, didn't really understanding the concepts. And I lost. So and then from there, I took a step back, and I was like, okay, cool. I said, this is not some get rich quick scheme or anything like that. I said, this is something that you really have to take on full time. So I just stopped trading completely, and I took the next 7 to 8 months to just really just dive in on education. I will say my education, when I first started, I went to Market Traders Institution. I paid for a course there, and I started to learn, the price patterns. I started learning about harmonics, Fibonacci, and, candlestick confirmations. And then from there, I just kind of, and they taught me more about the business side of how to really, become a trader. And then I'll say in 2018 of that year, I went ahead and started my company, which is called B Wall Street, which is the logo you see behind me, because I knew that if I do trade full time, and once I do start to trade full time, I needed to be able to take up right out the taxes in a proper way and not assume so much capital on my own. And then from there, I just kind of, I kept going.
That sounds great. I'm really glad that you've got your own company. Your logo looks amazing. I was wondering what that was whenever I joined.
All right, thank you.
So my next question is, how did you learn to trade successfully? Was it through your education, or was it like most people I've talked to, it is through trial and error? They blow up accounts and then they realize what they're doing wrong and go from there. So how's it been for you in terms of finding out what strategy works for you and what's successful?
I kind of mine came, like I said, through kind of trial and error, but also it was the education. The education to me, is what builds the trial and error, because you have to kind of be educated about, whether that's support, resistance, trend line breaks, supply and demand, and then learning about, candlestick confirmation in between those. And you have to kind of build up the confluences that makes, to put the probabilities in your favor. So that kind of what helped me become a better trader and through, through the process. So
amazing.
Because I say like support and resistance, I learned the difference that support and resistance is really like an area. It's not necessarily just one specific price point. And so I learned those things, and then like learning, like I said, the golden ratios and different stuff like that, and how to put those things put those confirmations together to build an overall trading plan.
Yeah, that sounds great. So are you doing the funded trader program with AudaCity Capital?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Yeah, so what has your experience been with that so far? just sharing your feedback. That's all we want from this.
Yeah. So far it's actually been pretty good. The reason why I like it so much is and that's the reason why I kind of did the research about doing the funded program is because if you have a funded account, it gives you more time to basically trade with a higher capital, and also you kind of be able to use a higher lot size in respective to your account size. And when you're starting off, when you're trading small and you really don't have a whole lot of capital to invest in the beginning, you get in the habits to over leveraging, and you get into habits of over leveraging and things like that. So I was losing in the beginning due to over leveraging, not because the positions was wrong or what I was seeing wasn't right. It was just purely over leveraging or over trading. So AudaCity Capital kind of helped me understand that, and also gave me behind scaling into the trade and actually just position sizing.
Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds like you're doing really well for yourself, and I'm really glad. So my last question is, because these videos are little videos that people can watch if they're thinking about joining our program or just wanting to start out in trading in general.
Yeah.
So my last question is just, what is the best advice you can give someone who's just starting their trading journey, or how to get into it?
The best advice I'll give someone is, I'll say, get your education. Learn the mechanics of the market. Also, seek out to trade with a prop firm, or sometimes some prop firms actually have education programs as well. And I'll say trading for a prop firm in the beginning, so that way you don't have to assume the risk yourself, and that way you don't wind up, thousands of dollars in behind before you actually see a profit. I think that is the smartest way to go about doing so. Even if you have to take a profit split or a profit share with the company, you're still getting, and now you're actually have an advantage of building your own capital to go back and to receive that 100% of the capital gains.